The fighting may be long finished, but the scars still cover the old church in Pohreba. This was the scene of a bloody battle, part of the civil war that left Moldova divided. As the Soviet Union was collapsing, the tiny Eastern European nation declared independence. Soon after, the Russian-speaking region of Transnistria said it was breaking away from the rest of the country. The separatists claimed they feared Moldova would rejoin Romania. Paramilitary forces took over public buildings, aided by Cossack fighters and Russian troops. They fought the Moldovans in a series of battles. Hundreds died. The fighting finished as what's known as a frozen conflict. Neither side really won, neither side really lost, with the Russians enforcing an uneasy ceasefire. Where I am now became the de facto border. Behind me is Bender, run by the Transnistrians, and ahead of me is the Moldovan town of Varnita. The situation in Moldova hasn't really troubled the outside world for the last 3 decades. But when the invasion of Ukraine began, this forgotten conflict suddenly became relevant again. We've come to interview Vitaly Ignatiev, the man Transnistria calls its foreign minister. Despite being just a short drive from his office, we're speaking over video. Getting accreditation to visit the region is not easy. You have 1,500 Russian troops in your territory. If it was decided by the Russians that they were to get involved in the Ukraine war, what would you do about that?
Это исключено.
This is out of the question. It's impossible. The fact is that Russian servicemen have very clear tasks in Transnistria set by their government. Some of the military personnel are peacekeepers. They ensure peace and security.
But back in February, there were real fears Transnistria could be dragged into the war. For people living in border towns, places like Kosnita, it not only brought back painful memories of the past, but real concerns for the future.
Having gone through the war of 1992, and then when the invasion of Ukraine happened, not realizing what was going on, I woke up thinking that we were the ones being attacked once again. People have now calmed down, but we lived with this fear for a month or 2 because there was a very big risk with Transnistria.
But those fears were not realized. And the truth is that the people of Moldova and Transnistria coexist quite easily. There may be checks, but the border is relatively free-flowing. There are reports of repression inside Transnistria. Certainly the media there is dominated by pro-Russian voices. Despite that, people cross to shop, to work, to go to the bank. Now, one of the main reasons people would come here is to get a passport. That's not only so they can travel, but also so they can access Moldovan public services. Especially education. Every day, busloads of children arrive in Dorochaya. Their head says for a schooling they cannot get in Transnistria.
We want a European future, and our students need a contemporary education. The separatist forces, supported by the Russian Federation, ban education. The schools, controlled by the Tiraspol separatists, still use Soviet-era textbooks, and the children are forbidden to think freely or to have a different kind of education.
These children are studying in Romanian. And language is at the heart of this situation. Transnistria was the first in a line of separatist conflicts. South Ossetia, Abkhazia, most consequentially the Donbass, that have destabilized the region and now reverberate around the world. Having seen the bloodshed in neighboring Ukraine, do the Transnistrian authorities still want independence?
The residents of Transnistria have the right to their future, to their present. Residents of Moldova have the right to the same. We must free ourselves from consequences of not resolving the conflict.
Although the prospect of war over Transnistria now seems unlikely, it is still a live issue. A recent film on the subject has broken Moldovan box office records. Its writer believes it is more relevant than ever.
Motivația am spus că, de fapt,
In 2018, when we started working on this film, we didn't think that the movie would become so relevant. This is the biggest drama of our country, the war in Transnistria. That's why our country has such an uncertain, unclear
cea mai
future.
mare dramă a țării noastre.
The truth is that while neither side wants war, neither side can compromise while their positions are diametrically opposed. And so this conflict remains frozen, a relic of the fall of communism with no obvious solution.